to rocks and weathering. So rocks can be slowly broken up by the weather. This is called weathering. The diagram below show how this can actually happen. So let's have a look at this in a little bit more detail. Let's blow this up. So here we go. So rainwater is slightly acidic. This makes certain rocks, for example, limestone, slowly dissolve away. So the limestone will slowly dissolve away by the rain over many, many years, remember. So some of these weathering processes could take years, it could take hundreds of years, thousands of years, and even millions of years. So that's called weathering. Now, limestone will dissolve very easily, especially by acid. So if there's acid rain, or if there's rain that has a little bit of acid in it, that could mean that the limestone actually weathers away and it dissolves and shrinks. So here, wind carries sand particles which blast against the surface of rocks and produce more sand. So here you can see the wind hitting the rocks and carries sand particles which blast against the surface of the rocks. So these sand particles will smash into the rocks over many, 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 many years, and this will also create a form of weathering. So one is rain and one is wind. Okay, so let's now talk about expansion and contraction. Expansion means to get bigger, contraction means to get smaller. So in this case, in the daytime, heat is absorbed by the rocks and the rock will expand. At nighttime, when it's much cooler, the heat is lost from the rocks, which means the rocks could contract in size slightly. Now, in a desert, it is very hot during the day and very cold at night. So constant expansion, contraction of rocks causes them to break up, to weather, and overall to contract or reduce in size as well. And the last bit, we're looking at the freezing of the water. So some of the rocks have cracks. Water fills in a crack in the rock. This, in cold weather, then forms into ice, and ice means that it expands, and when it expands, then obviously the rock cracks or breaks. The rock is forced apart and the crack gets bigger. So when a rock is cracked into smaller pieces, then obviously it will contract in size. Okay, so rocks and weathering in this topic go hand in hand. Good luck with the rest of the questions.